Hey there everybody, Jake from the OneManBand here, and I'm bringing you yet another RWBY review. In-depth look / McDougal. Anyway, episode 3 has finally come around, The Shining Beacon Part 2, and I'm gonna basically just dive right into it and tell you what I think about it. A brief overview of the episode. First, all the students that have arrived at Beacon Academy gather in some sort of courtyard where they're given a orientation speech, and then they're basically settled in, and they basically have like a giant commune sleeping area in the ballroom. I guess they don't have dorms yet or something? I'm not sure. This episode is one that is basically for character development and comedy. This one was probably one of the funnier episodes of the 3 that have come out, just due to the fact that Weiss and RWBY don't really see eye to eye, and there's just stuff. Man, I can't talk. This episode, I believe, leans more along the line of the whole comedy side than on the action part, due to the fact that there are parts where RWBY and Yang get into a fight, and it's basically just the classic cartoon dust ball with limbs coming out of it. It's funny. And basically the whole Weiss / RWBY arguing and bickering, and then them making fun of Jean and all that kind of stuff. And then RWBY hitting Yang with pillows, one being I guess like a bear cartoony pillow that actually somewhat resembles the little bat from Rosario Vampire. Don't quote me on that, that's just what I saw. At first glance I was like, oh, look at that, it looks like the little bat from Rosario Vampire, but you can just make your own connections with that. As well as being a comedic episode, this episode is big on character development. And some of the things that I saw were when Jean and RWBY first entered the courtyard, RWBY goes to stand with Yang, and leaving Jean all alone. And he basically is like, oh no, where am I going to find another quirky girl to talk to? And basically right behind him appears another girl. This girl actually is in the intro sequence. She has red hair, tall, wears sort of a tunic type dealy, and it's basically introducing her as a character. She doesn't have any lines, she's just there for like a second, but it's just foreshadowing that she's probably going to be another quirky type girl for Jean to interact with. Also big on character development is Yang. She really likes to treat RWBY. She teases RWBY that she's still a child, and basically it's just the whole sister-sibling thing going on, where they just joke with whatever the other sibling's going through. And I think that's really key in a series like this. I mean, if you're trying to portray siblings, you want to do it accurately, and to the fact that they're actually believable as siblings. I have siblings, maybe you have siblings, and you all act the same way. And I think that's just very key, making the series more real. We are once again reminded that Weiss Schnee is a stuck-up, sarcastic person, and she also doesn't like to be bothered with other people's problems. With when she talks to RWBY and Yang, she doesn't want to be like, she doesn't really want anything to do with them. She probably is going to have issues in the future where making friends is going to be hard, but RWBY and Yang, they still keep trying to become friends with Weiss because, hey, why not? But probably the most entertaining part of the whole episode is the whole ballroom part, where they're basically setting down to go to bed, and it's basically thought as a big slumber party of sorts. And we actually see something very hilarious. We see Jean in footy pajamas. I got a real kick out of that. It just basically applies more to the point that he is a dork because he's wearing footy pajamas, while all the other guys are basically in t-shirts and boxers or what have you. Also, during the whole ballroom slumber party, going to sleep part of the episode, one of the big things I looked at was the whole pajamas, how people, what they dressed in their pajamas. Now, I don't know about you, but you can probably actually tell a lot of person by what they wear when they go to sleep. Now, it's kind of weird, I know, but once again, this is whole character development, and it's basically touching on how the character is. Basically, there's Yang, she's basically in a tank top and just shorts. RWBY is in a tank top and pajama pants with roses on them. Go figure. Weiss wears a nightgown, and Blake was actually wearing, I believe, some sort of robe, maybe? I mean, she was laying down the whole time, like leaning up against a wall, so it was kind of an awkward angle. But if you basically take all those aspects of what they were wearing and attach them to the characters, you can probably infer a lot from them. Weiss wearing a nightgown, obviously. Who do you think wears nightgowns in real life, you know? Or who wore nightgowns in real life, you know? There's that whole entire sort of old style, higher up rich type family wore nightgown dealy. I mean, that's what I get out of it. Yang and RWBY, their whole pajama dealy, that goes more along the line of, like, they're more common people, they just wear, normal tank top shirts and pajama bottoms. Alright, one of the last big character development points that I saw was Blake. She actually has a larger part in this episode, where she actually has more than 2 lines of dialogue. And RWBY and Yang, they basically see her from across the room and they go over to introduce themselves. And she's reading a book, and she doesn't want to be disturbed. This points me in the direction that she's, once again, a solitary type person. She likes to just, be alone with her thoughts, read. Almost every single anime or cartoon, movie show, anything along that line has a person like this. And by the way Blake presents herself and how she acts makes me believe that she is probably one of the she's probably the most mature out of our main 4 heroines. She, at the end of the episode when all of them start to argue, she doesn't, she doesn't add into the whole argument. She basically just stays out of it, blows out the candle, and ends the episode. But also, the way that she presents herself and the way she talks also suggests that she's very mature. Also, she has a very dry sense of humor, which I think is just hilarious. Dry sense of humor to me is quite funny. Then again, all type of quirkiness is funny to me. But I digress. The biggest part about the Blake section of this episode is the book that she is reading, actually. When RWBY and Yang ask what kind of book she is, she tells them that it is a book about a man with 2 souls, which are fighting for control of his body. Can I get a epic foreshadowing? I mean, did I not call this when it was the Black trailer review? I said that she and Adam represent Beauty and the Beast. But now, what if she is both Beauty and the Beast? Maybe she has, like, an evil side, or like a beast side or something like that. Awesome, I say. Epic foreshadowing right there. I'm pretty sure that's going to come into play later on in the series, and I can't wait to see that. Last thing I want to touch up on during the whole orientation speech. Afterwards, Yang and RWBY make the comments that Professor Ozpin didn't seem to be totally there. He seemed distracted or distraught, maybe. Does this mean Professor Ozpin knows something's going to happen, or knows something is going on that he doesn't want to let the students know? probably going to cause problems later on in the series and drive the series forward as well. So, basic summary of this episode. It was supposed to be funny. It was supposed to have character development. There was a little bit of plot progression, but overall a good episode. That's basically gonna do it for me. This will probably be maybe a shorter review, in-depth look compared to the other ones, but I just thought I needed to touch up on just a few things and shorten them a little bit. If you guys want me to go more in-depth, let me know in the comments below. And if you think I missed anything, please comment below. And be sure to watch out for more RWBY review in-depth looks coming from Jake of the OneManBand. And be sure to watch RWBY at roosterteeth.com and YouTube a week after the episode comes out at roosterteeth.com. Once again, links in the description. And I will see you guys later. Yeah.